Blog Talk Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, leave it in the ring.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. I've always wanted to do that since I've seen Bill O'Reilly lose it, before they went on live, right? So I figured, why not, man? Hey, welcome back. I'm your host, Dave Duenas, with my co-hosts, Amilcar and Kenny T. We are up live on Blog Talk, and as you can see, up on YouTube finally. Good job,
That's
Kenny.
awesome.
Good job, Amilcar. And you guys put in a lot of work, man.
Teamwork,
it was getting
baby.
stressful. We were
Teamwork.
You know what I mean? Teamwork. And we were, I got to get me my Gatorade, man. I was sweating it out for a little bit here, but Kenny keep reassuring me, I got it. Don't worry, D. We're gonna do it. But like a good team, we put it together, and like a good team, we put the work so we can reap the fruits of winning, and that's exactly what we did. But that's not what Ruiz did. That's not what Andy Ruiz did on Saturday night on the Zone. I don't know. Here, guys, I got to ask you guys this, because there's two things out right now about the fight. Andy Ruiz lost he was outboxed basically by Anthony Joshua, which did a fantastic job. I said he had to do the Lennox Lewis, Latimer Klitschko. But the two things that are talks right now that are major topics in the boxing world is how boxing fans feel about Andy Ruiz, the lack of respect that he had for the heavyweight world title. Him immediately saying in the post interview, I partied for 3 months. I didn't take it serious. I'm gonna do better the third time around. The other thing that is a major talks right now is the performance of Anthony Joshua. Not many folks were too excited about his win, the way he did it. I mean, we're congratulating him, but at the same time, I see a lot of people putting him down, being critical, saying that he ran scared. I know Kenny didn't say any of that. Kenny's right now is going to be asking for us to eat crow here, Amilcar,
Yeah, this is true.
I knew it.
Well, I'll be honest with you guys. I did a little workout at work. I jumped rope, push-ups, abs. I was in the gym for about an hour and a bit. It was probably more work than Andy Ruiz did during his training camp.
Wow. Yeah.
Did you hear?
I'm just saying. I'm keeping it real. Do I need to take the shirt off? I mean, I know we're live. Do I need to show the gun?
Did you guys hear what Paulie Malignaggi said about him, about Ruiz?
No, what did he say?
What did he say?
He said
I never listened to him.
He said that Ruiz went into the fight looking like a fat tub of shit. Just like that.
I mean,
verbal and everything. Just like
I don't
that.
like to call I don't like to name human beings after excrement, but he was definitely fat. He was definitely fat. That's for sure.
Oh, bro, he was carrying the turkey from Thanksgiving.
In his
Definitely was
stomach.
carrying that turkey from Thanksgiving. Yeah.
14 fucking pounds overweight.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Louise.
So let's go back to the question. What were you more disappointed in, Andy Ruiz or the way Anthony Joshua won the title? I mean, because I've talked to a few folks and they were like, "Hey, man, good for him, but dude, I mean, it didn't really even seem like he wanted to even try to get that revenge." And I was like, "Yeah, but a win's a win. You take the win, you look good tomorrow." And that's pretty much what he did. I mean, I think we all forget the sweet science. But I know the comparisons. I didn't like the comparisons that the Zone commentators were making, about, Lennox and Latimer Klitschko. Yeah, he took a small page, but they failed to mention, though, that Klitschko and Lennox finished the show every time with a KO, even though when they were stinking out of place.
I think that the only thing more disrespectful than Andy Ruiz's weight and his lack of training prior to this fight is comparing what Anthony Joshua did to Lennox Lewis. Anthony Joshua was beaten from pillar to post by Andy Ruiz. Okay, knocked down 4 times. All right. forced into the fetal position in the middle of the ring and spit out his gum shield, was told to walk towards the referee and couldn't do it. All right. Lennox was knocked out by one punch. All right, in South Africa in Johannesburg by Hasim Rahman, and made it a point, a statement point, to knock out Rahman in a round prior to the round that he was knocked out in. So he was not boxing on his toes. He was not, dancing around. He was not engaging in the sweet science of hitting and not being hit. All right. He decided that he wanted to knock out Hasim Rahman. Anthony Joshua did not make that statement. All right. He did not make the effort to, clear all the cobwebs, the drama, everything that had passed in Madison Square Garden. So, no, I don't think that's a fair comparison.
You got to admit, though, he boxed beautiful, though. Right, so. Kenny? He boxed. I know that some fans want to label it was running, but I say it was boxing smart, and that's what he did. Hey, he just got knocked out brutal. Let's not forget that. Andy Ruiz put hands on him. And my biggest problem with Andy Ruiz is that did he forget, guys, that he had to work to get that title the first time? Because it almost felt like he thought this title, I should keep the title, so AJ, you should just come in front of me and stand in front of me because it's supposed to be my night. I'm the champion. I just had a real, when I was watching it, I was embarrassed for Andy Ruiz. But I was happy for AJ, But I was happy for AJ.
Yeah.
Look, AJ did his thing.
Right.
I don't know. I have to agree with somewhat with David, and I have to highly disagree with you, Amilcar.
You would?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big AJ fan, and I have eyes, and these eyes give me my own opinion. Amilcar, your camera's off the stream. I don't know what you did, but your camera's no longer on the stream, so please fix that back. Thank you. Continuing forward, I think that Anthony Joshua, he did his thing, man. He like you say, he didn't do the sweet science of not being hit. He did hit and not get hit. He looked great. And I give him all respect for that. I don't care that he didn't knock Andy Ruiz out. Yes, Andy Ruiz whooped him badly in the first fight. I understand.
It would have been nice though.
But it would have been nice
though, Kenny.
It would have been a plus one.
Nice.
It would have been a plus one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It 100% would have been a plus one. But I am 100% okay with the outcome of the fight and the way that it went. Why? Because it's like Errol Spence, right? Where people told Errol Spence, you can't box, you can fight, you can only knock people out. Anthony Joshua, you can't box, you can't fight, you're not as skilled as Andy Ruiz. Your experience is too low. You can't. There's no way that you're gonna beat Andy Ruiz by boxing him. You gotta knock him out to win. And guess what? He outboxed him. He outclassed him for the entire fight. I think I gave maybe the 11th round to Ruiz, and everything else was AJ. So it's like you got to give him respect. You got to tip your hat to the dude. It's like Errol Spence, like I said. You got to give the dude respect for the way that he beat Mikey Garcia, a dude that's supposed to be on such a higher level IQ in boxing. He completely outclassed him. And yes, the weight had part to do with it. But you can't blame anybody but Andy Ruiz for that.
Yeah, so. I don't know, man. Hey, let me tell you this, though, guys. Let me just point this out here because I know a lot of folks are going to be using the weight, 14 pounds, 15 pounds heavier than when he originally was in the first fight. But I get the sense the AJ that we got today would have posed a lot of problems to the Andy Ruiz that he had faced 6 months ago. And just to throw this out there, too, the thirsty boxing ghoul in me wanted AJ to finish the fight with a knockout. I think that would have put the cherry on the top. But at the same time, I understand he was knocked out brutally in the first fight, so that's still got to be in the back of his mind. He still, when he got touched, he made sure he caught himself and said, no, we're not doing this again, my friend, not again.
Yes.
But
look, I agree with Kenny. I actually agree with you. I don't have a problem with the way AJ boxed. The way AJ boxed is fine. It's great. He outboxed him. It was damn near a shutout. All right. Andy Ruiz did not look good, but at the end of the day, AJ can only fight what's in front of him. My problem isn't with how AJ boxed. My problem is the comparisons to Lennox Lewis, someone who I grew up like really idolizing and admiring as a fighter. So
Right.
AJ's AJ, Lewis is Lewis. Just don't conflate the two. What AJ did is fine, but don't say that was a Lennox Lewis type performance because it wasn't.
I agree with that.
It was a 2.10. It was like, half of what Lennox would have done. Like I said, what was missing from the recipe was that Lennox or even Klitschko would have gotten the KO.
Yeah.
They would have at least done that because the jab would have broke up their opponent. It still leaves me, though, thinking, okay, Joshua did a semi-performance of Lennox Lewis and Klitschko, but this is one fight that he finally came back and decided to listen to his trainers, because that was the key thing. Listen to your trainer. So I wonder him with his second fight, if he comes and implicates the same plan, is his jab going to be stronger? Is he going to be a bit more confident? Are the questions about his chin still going to be lingering around in his head? I don't know. I think this is what makes that performance still very questionable, but at the same time, very excellent in the way he commanded it, the way he cemented it, and the way he decided to adopt it and not leave any doubts in the ring that he couldn't box, Kenny. I agree with you about that.
Well, he left no doubts that he can box, but he left a lot of doubts about whether he could beat up an out of shape, 283-pound, undersized heavyweight. Could he knock that out? I think those doubts are still in the air.
No, I highly
absolutely.
disagree with you. I highly disagree with you.
I think those doubts are still in the air.
He's knocked out
open question.
He has knocked out bigger and stronger dudes. I highly disagree with you. I'm very happy that he did not go for the knockdown. Actually, I think it would have been very stupid for him to go for the knockdown. This is the first time.
Would have been.
This is the first time in his career that he's been knocked out. That didn't happen. He barely had an amateur career. It didn't happen early on in his career. Lennox Lewis, I'm pretty sure in the amateurs he probably got hit, knocked down, maybe knocked out. I don't know. I don't know his full story, but I know.
Well, he boxed 2 Olympic games. He boxed in '84.
Okay,
he boxed in '88. Yeah.
But Anthony Joshua does not have that extensive amateur career, and this is the first time that he's actually been knocked out in a fight. Yes, he got knocked down in the Olympics, but he has, to my knowledge, he was knocked out. There's a difference. So
right.
There's a lot of mental work the guy had to do. He had to come back strong. He had to change his whole mental game. It's not like Lennox Lewis, who was a super experienced fighter and is already stable, strong-minded the entire way through. As you said, this is a guy that does not have as much experience. So, hey, I completely commend the fact that he was able to keep his head clear and not go to the animal instinct of trying to put the guy on his ass late in the fight. I respect it.
That's true discipline, my
Kenny,
friend.
David
That's
and Kenny,
true
we
discipline.
agree.
Yeah.
We agree.
Right.
I mean, he did what he had to do. He proved he could box. He went 12 rounds. He beat Andy Ruiz convincingly.
Yeah.
No dispute. My dispute and it's not with you or with David, it's with people that have made the comparison to Lennox Lewis.
There is no comparison.
Lennox Lewis knocked out the people who knocked him out.
You can't compare
Lennox
it to
Lewis knocked out the people who knocked him out. Okay, he did that. So let's put AJ in AJ's own lane. He's very good in his lane. All right, he did very well for himself. He recaptured the title. Let's just put Lennox Lewis aside. That's all I'm saying. I agree with everything else you guys have had to
pulled
say.
The Andre Ward card on you right now, Kenny. Stay in your lane. Okay.
All right, if there's a noise, I'm cracking open a Canada Dry, just so you guys know. I'm very thirsty. I ran here from work. Yeah, there we go. Canada Dry. Thank you.
Really quickly, I just want to thank the 9 live viewers that we have. We currently have 9 people who are viewing this live. I just want to thank you guys and thank you for watching. And feel free to call in. I think it's time for your announcement, David.
Fight fans, you want to call in, you want to tell us your thoughts about this past Saturday fight between Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua getting the revenge, no matter how you want to call it. He did get his revenge. He got his titles back on the zone. You certainly can. 347-215-7598. Tell me who you want to see AJ face next, and what do you think about Andy Ruiz, man? I see people already counting him out. I don't count the kid out. I still say this might have been a wake-up call for him. I know that he had trouble at Top Rank. They dropped him because of this fact here that there's a bit of laziness in him. But you know what? Tell me this, guys. Getting a little bit of taste of that fame, a little bit of taste of that money, and it went to his head. he had a very lackluster performance because of, he had too much turkey, too much Snickers, whatever the case is. But can you really count him out in believing that he could go back to the drawing board this time and listen to Manny Rubio's the way Anthony Joshua listened to his trainer? Because remember this, the first fight that these two men had, it was AJ who wasn't listening to his corner.
Yeah.
I definitely do not count Andy Ruiz Jr. out. No. He just came in a little out of shape, and the dude is a guy who's coming from the gutter. We all do. The guy is not a dude that comes from money. So getting your first taste of money, I get how it could completely throw off somebody's point of views or somebody's mental focus. I understand. No, Andy Ruiz definitely has a career in the heavyweight division, and I would love to see that fight that they was talking about, which was Ruiz versus Kaunaki. I just think that Ruiz, I think that he needs to focus. He needs to stop feeling bad for himself, and he needs to get back to the drawing board and hit the gym.
He needs to get that hunger, right? And that's the one that's on the plate, not the one that's on the plate.
Andy Ruiz apologized for, getting more fat, for partying. He said, he'll be in shape next time for the third fight. Personally, I don't need to see it next time. I would have preferred to see it next time if AJ knocked out Ruiz. I don't need to see it next time now that Andy Ruiz has proven that he's an undisciplined fighter. You got to be training 24/7, 365. Well, not 24/7. You got to be training year round if you're an elite level athlete. There's no excuses. He was already overweight and out of shape for the first fight. He was 14 pounds fatter for the second fight. All right. So he apologized to his fans. One thing I'd like to get off really quick, because we haven't really addressed it. This great setup that we have here, Kenny put this all together for the most part. I helped out a little bit, but Kenny did almost all of it. And the reason we're having so many issues is because my computer is really a piece of shit here at my house. So it couldn't handle what we were trying to do.
Bad. We're working on it.
We're working on upgrading it, but Kenny's got the very expensive, top-of-the-line Lamborghini PC in his house. I've got the Toyota Corolla of the PC world, and the Toyota Corolla stalled and broke down.
That's good on gas, though, man. Come on.
Yeah, pretty good on gas.
I mean, the speed ain't too much. No, I'm joking. I'm just an IT guy, so I, as an IT guy, we spend a lot of money on technical equipment and shit. So it's don't feel any type of way about it. We are upgrading yours, so we'll be good. We'll be good. And regarding Andy Ruiz's apology, I don't accept the apology, bro. I'm sorry. I don't. You didn't let me down. You let yourself down. You in your interview, you keep on saying, "I'm sorry to my fans. I'm sorry to my Mexican fans, my culture, my family, my country." You need to honestly apologize to yourself. Your fans still want to see you fight. I want to see you fight. I'm pretty sure the rest of this cast would like to see you fight. Just definitely not Anthony Joshua. You need to earn that again.
Maybe Adam Konaki or Big Baby Miller.
I would like to see.
Yeah, one of those two would be a good comeback. Yeah. You know what? I was going to say that, especially Latino fans, but it's not especially Latino fans. It's boxing fans in general, are sometimes very unforgiving. And when you hear, especially when Andy Ruiz started making his apologies, my mom called me, and my mom was like pissed, you know what I mean? Because I helped her get the stream on her TV. She wanted to watch the fight. She called me up. She's like, "Mijo, ¿cuándo va a pelear el gordito?" And I'm like, "Oh, he's going to go on right now, Mom." Right? And my mom calls me back, and she's like, "What the hell is this crap that he didn't train?" And, blah, blah, blah. And it just shows you that boxing fans were not very forgiving, especially with that type of excuse. The forgiving part would have been that he went all out. He went for broke, But like I said, it was almost like we saw a spoiled child, that didn't want to get up for his dinner. He wanted the dinner brought to him. And that's not how boxing works. You got to continuously work. But Adam Kozlowski or Baby Miller, I tell you what, I don't think Baby Miller has been forgiven completely. I don't think he'll ever be because of what he did, with having the pharmacy all up in his body. So if Andy Ruiz gets back in shape and he is hungry and he wants to get himself back in the limelight and pay back the fans that pay to watch him, that even showed up to watch him, pay the fans back by beating a Baby Miller and beating them bad. That's the way you get yourself back again in the talk and seriousness. They bring up your name.
Yeah.
Really quickly, I just want to say thank you to everybody who is commenting. You guys can't see it. I'll try to embed it on our stream for the next time, or I'll try to create a way so that we could all see the chat. But we have a lot of people who are writing to us on our YouTube stream in the chat.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, you know what? I'll bring it up on my monitor right here. I'll bring it up on my monitor.
Yes. Next time, I'll try to figure out a way that we can all. Well, you guys actually can view the chat if you actually go to the YouTube stream and log on yourselves.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you to everybody who's commenting. For real, thank you so much. We appreciate you watching us, and we appreciate everything. So
hey, Ahmed just told me right now that your volume on YouTube is really low, so you need to pick it up there. Kevin.
Is it my volume or is it milk? Is mine specifically?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Awesome.
It's either your volume or your volume in the way you're talking.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
I picked up the gain right now. You should be. He should be able to hear me much louder. Yeah. Hopefully that's much more clear than what it was before.
All right, let's patch in some fight fans here really quick so they can tell us what their thoughts about the fight that happened Saturday, who they think that AJ should go after, who they think is going to happen first, what fight's going to come first, and what Andy Ruiz should do. Let's patch in area code 201. You're on live right now on Leaving Ring. What's on your mind? 201, you're on live right now on Leaving Ring. What's on your mind? Okay, we'll try him a bit later. See,
sounds like we did what AJ couldn't. We knocked somebody out
through the airways.
Through the airways. All right, again, if you guys want to call in, you certainly can. 347-415-7598.
I kid. I like AJ. I like AJ. I just don't like the Lewis comparisons.
I'm going to tell you this.
Lazy comparison.
I'm going to tell you this.
Sorry, Dave. Go ahead. Yeah.
AJ, I know that immediately, especially on our Leaving Ring Gmail, folks were like, okay, we should get the Wilder fight now, right? And I'm like, no, slow down. No. Honestly, I don't think that's going to happen. I think if anything, we'll get the Ruiz versus Wilder first before we see AJ step into the ring with Wilder.
I agree.
And I'll give you my reasons. One is Hearns understands what he has right now. Two is he's got to rebuild him back and maybe smart promotional wise, but I don't think that's what I might be wrong, but I don't think they're crazy enough and brave enough right now to go after Wilder. What do you think?
You're right. Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Promotions, they don't have a polar bear, grizzly bear, a black bear, koala bear. They have a teddy bear. And, teddy bears like to hug. So, people go to night with their little teddy bears when they're kids. Anthony Joshua, he's a big teddy bear, man. He loves to hug and give, he's a big teddy bear. So, but in all seriousness, they don't want any of that Wilder fight. Wilder, I was watching these fights, and I'm like, man, if Wilder had this distance and these opportunities that Ruiz has, this fight is would be over. Multiple opportunities to land. Agreed. Straight rights. AJ needs to stay clear, but luckily for him, he's got something called mandatory defenses. Very popular for champions that don't necessarily want to fight the best opposition. So lined up first is either going to be his his IBF mandatory Kubrat Pulev, or his WBO mandatory Usyk. But what I've heard Matchroom is planning to do is pair Usyk with Chisora. So I think first he's going to take on Kubrat Pulev in his IBF mandatory. Then he's going to take on the winner of Chisora and Usyk his WBO mandatory, and then, he might take on the winner of Wilder Tyson Fury. Although what I've also heard is that the Tyson Fury Wilder thing is going to be a trilogy. So, whoever wins the next fight, they're probably going to fight a third time. So we're probably not going to see any AJ Fury or Wilder fight until 2021. And at that point, hopefully he's got his confidence up. Yeah, maybe even further than that. But at that point, I'd see two scenarios. A, he gets sparked by Deontay Wilder, or B, he gets schooled by Tyson Fury. So it's like, take your pick, pick your poison.
All right, let me just respond to you really quickly. Talk to you like if I was Stephen A. Smith. No, let me stop.
Oh no!
No, I'm lying.
You're gonna have to push that hairline back, bro.
I'm good. I like my long hair.
You out here looking like a tall, lean Keith one-time Thurman, but don't put yourself into the into the Stephen A. Smith category.
I'm 6'3", 220 pounds. There's no way I'm a Keith one-time teasy. All right, but no, just to respond, I would hate to see Usyk versus AJ. That to me would be foolish. Usyk hasn't proven anything.
Why?
Usyk hasn't proven anything in the heavyweight class. He had trouble taking the hits from that fat, slow dude he fought. I can't even remember the guy's name.
He was the undisputed cruiserweight champion.
Oh, he was great there.
Undisputed cruiserweight champion. Listen, he brings a huge fan base. If I'm AJ and Hearns, that's the fight I want next. It's a big money fight. And you just said it. He hasn't done anything in the heavyweight division. So why wait for a guy to start doing something that looks starts becoming dangerous at the heavyweight division? That would be the silliest move to do, is to wait for him to get better at a division we still are questioning about. I say take him next.
That does make a lot of sense. I just think that it wouldn't be smart for Usyk to take that fight, not for AJ. AJ, hey man, fuck it, take that fight.
I don't think it would be smart. I don't think it would be smart for either of them, and I think Matchroom knows that. So, Matchroom's plan was to test Usyk down in Maryland a few months ago, but obviously the injury happened, and then he ended up facing a very low-level opponent in Chicago instead later on. But, they're using Derek Chisora to test the waters. I think they're using it for two ways of testing the waters. First, they're testing the waters for Usyk, right? And second, they're seeing what kind of a threat Usyk would pose to AJ. I guarantee you that if he looks super impressive against Derek Chisora, that really what's going to happen is they're going to find another fight for AJ to take instead. That's my view. AJ's protected.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah.
The fight that I would really like to actually see, which would build up my dude's resume and make him look that much better, would be AJ versus Pulev. For some reason, Mr. Kubrat only fight once a year Pulev, or once every other year Pulev. Seems like people run from him or something. I don't know. I just don't understand why he's fighting so little, and he's actually a skilled dude that's only lost to Klitschko. Like, I actually would like to. That'd be a great addition to AJ's resume.
Now, Pulev is the guy that gives the big kisses to female reporters,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and grabs the booty and then gets
That's
in
gonna
trouble.
be the kisser against the hugging teddy bear. It's a good fight.
Damn.
Teddy
It
bear.
should happen on Valentine's Day, right? It should happen on Valentine's Day.
hit him with the Family Guy
kisser
line.
and the teddy bear.
Pow! Right in the kisser.
Let's take some calls, man, right now here on Leaving the Ring. Let's patch in. I believe we got Hamed on the line with us, bro. Are you there?
Yeah, Dave. Amanka, Kenny, how's it going?
Yo, what's good, bro?
I'm good, Hamed. How's it going in Cardiff? What time is it there? Like 3 a.m., 2 a.m.?
Nah, it's just after midnight. It's not too late.
Oh,
no.
perfect. Okay,
Nice.
okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I was listening to you guys. I listened to the show you did the other day as well after the fight, and you're making some very good points. I thought there was a close fight, like a pickup fight before the fight. The weigh-in was a big factor. Like, Joshua came in so light and Ruiz was so heavy. I still said that it won't make as much difference in terms of the game plan, because Ruiz's job was just to knock him out. Like, I had so many people saying he was a better boxer, but in that first fight, I don't think he outboxed him, if you're being honest. Like, once he dropped him, once they traded knockdowns in the third round, Ruiz just was coming after him, and Joshua, I don't think he recovered. Like, he was gone, like, after that round, and Ruiz basically was beating him up. I wouldn't call that outboxing. In this fight, I think we've seen the difference in level. Although I would say Ruiz is hot and cold. He's done this before. I don't know why like so many people are surprised. I think maybe it's some of the fans who are like bandwagon fans, if you call them, because after that Joseph Parker fight, he disappeared for a very long time. Like, I know he had a contract issue, but
True.
You remember that, innit? You guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And people are saying he's been kicked out of gyms. He hasn't turned up to training. It's not a good look. That's where
He was eating sushi. Ahmed, you also can't forget he was eating sushi off strippers. Like, we can't forget that. It's a key detail.
Was that Pulev? I thought that was Pulev. Was it him?
No, Pulev.
Well, I think Pulev was savoring the sushi as well.
Yeah. I seen one video where he said that don't tell my trainer and he's eating pizzas. You can't do that. Like, I know a lot of people have been critical of Joshua's performance. I really don't think that was that boring of a fight. Like, if you've seen some of Klitschko's fights and if you've seen some fights with that, I don't think it was. Joshua was very vulnerable. Even until the 11th or 12th round, I wasn't convinced he was going to pull it through. Like I was saying, until the final bell's over, Ruiz is live. Ruiz is very heavy-handed. The thing was, though, he came in so heavy that his feet were like planted in cement. The guy,
he was heavy-handed and heavy-footed.
Very. I mean, he
think
misunderstood. He misunderstood that when you become a millionaire, you want to eat in Michelin star restaurants. You don't want to actually become the Michelin man. So, you know, I'm sorry, man. He really disappointed me Saturday, man. He really disappointed me.
Yeah, he let a lot of us down. I mean, you know.
I think he got a little full of himself.
I agree with you.
I think he got a little full of
I
himself.
think people who paid like this.
Go for it.
Yeah, Kenny, go.
No, go for it, bro. Ahmed, go for it.
I was just gonna say people who paid or invested in that fight, like even emotionally, or you've been supporting them. I get it. Like he deserves his criticism. Like he was saying no excuses, and then he says like stuff like
Then he
3 months
he posted an excuse.
Yeah.
Ask you something, Ahmed. Can I ask Ahmed a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Who showed up in worse shape? Was it Andy Ruiz or was it Dillian White?
Dillian White.
I think some people are getting over. With Dillian White, that was like a 3-week notice fight. I don't know why so many people are talking about that. Dillian White said he contemplated retirement. Like, obviously he should not be that big. But if you've seen Dillian White's fights, the guy normally does balloon up he used to balloon up in weights. Up until I think he got knocked out, but yeah.
I realize you're from the UK, man, but that I don't buy that excuse. I mean, we're live on YouTube for the first time. Don't make me take the shirt off. Don't make me take it off. I'm a teacher. I don't look anywhere as bad as Dillian White. Don't make me take the shirt off. There's no excuse. I'm sorry. All kidding aside, there is no excuse for a world-class athlete, someone who's walking around claiming he's the number one contender to the WBC title, calling himself the interim champ, to be in that kind of shape. There's no excuse for that.
I agree with that, but one guy was fighting Mariusz Wach in a fight that was like, I don't know, he almost got knocked out. That's how bad that was. Like he really needs to go back to the drawing board. But that was like on paper, a lot of people thought it was a mismatch, or White was basically just going to win.
It looked like a cherry pick.
A tougher fight. Yeah, it looked like a cherry pick. With Ruiz, this fight was meant to be the biggest fight of the year, and I think some people are going overboard with. I think some people are going overboard with Ruiz, although it's on both sides. I think Joshua had to do that. Like, I know a lot of people are saying it wasn't exciting. I'm surprised like how many guys in the media in America are saying it. You got to realize this guy is the biggest brand in the UK boxing. If he was to lose again, that would be such a big blow for Matchroom, for himself, obviously, for his own career. And Eddie Hearn was basically crying after the fight because he knows how much that win meant. If he was to lose again, I think that could have been very close to a career-ending defeat. Like, they just couldn't lose again to Ruiz. I do agree with
Ahmed,
that.
Ahmed, I used to live in the UK, right? Is weed legal in the UK?
No,
because honestly, whatever Eddie Hearn's smoking, I need to get some because he's there saying that AJ is now the #1 heavyweight in the world. I'm like, what? #1 heavyweight? Based on what he did yesterday, or based on the fight before that?
Well, who's the #1 heavyweight in the world? You talk to me. Who you Amilcar, you tell me who the #1 heavyweight in the world is. Please don't tell me Tyson Fury, the guy who doesn't have a belt, or Wilder, the guy who has one belt.
To me, okay, I'm going to answer the question. Okay,
I just had to finish the question.
To me, it's either Tyson Fury or it's Deontay Wilder. It's one or the other. Now, it also depends on how much you want to rate their last knockouts because they were both impressive knockouts.
All right, so I have to battle you real quickly because no, that doesn't make any sense at all, my friend. If you look at both, yes, Wilder has 40-something fights. Of who are they fighters? And Fury has 20-something fights with only 2.
Bro,
hold on. Let me finish.
Okay.
With only 2 valuable names on his resume. Everybody else on Tyson Fury's resume is another clown. So, if we're talking about who the best heavyweight fighter is, we got to compare who they have fought in order to say who the best is. And right now, AJ has by far the better resume.
Okay, you're forgetting one key fact.
Out though, as well. You gotta factor.
Well, you're forgetting. You guys are all forgetting one key fact. The Gypsy King, he did something that AJ couldn't do. He knocked out someone in Saudi Arabia. Let's not forget that.
Who we talking about? Who we talking about?
You talking about the WWE?
Who we talking about? Who we talking about,
bro? Braun Strowman.
Oh
bro.
man,
he has like 300 pounds. Come on, man. Give the dude his credit.
Hey,
give the dude his credit.
That was one big heavyweight fight.
Killed your whole argument, Kenny. You're done. Put the nail in the casket.
What's your take on this one, David? What do you think about this?
About who's the best heavyweight out right now?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, man, I don't think you're going to like my answer, but and I think a lot of folks are going to say, oh, Dave is going to be a pump waiver for PBC, but I got to go with Wilder, and I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah, same here.
Because Wilder can be outboxed, but he closes the show. And he's shown that he really doesn't care about looking pretty. What he does care about is landing that right hand. He's shown that he's fearless. He's willing to go through the fire to get the KO. He's showing that he's willing to take on anybody. So I got to give it to him. Now, I won't make no argument about some of the names that are on his list. But at the same time, we do forget, he came on leaving ring very early in his career. And he came on to stress and show his frustration and how many people didn't want to face a bronze medalist Olympian.
Yeah, I get it.
So we got to take that into account as well. So now, if you have AJ on your top list, I can't argue with that because I think that's what makes the heavyweight division right now so fascinating. Is that they all, if you really think about it, every one of them maybe have 2 or 3 real recognizable, incredible names on their resume.
Absolutely, it's a triangle. So the way I look at it, go ahead, Hamed. And then I'll make my point.
Sorry to cut you. I'm just gonna say,
that's okay.
It's like pound for pound. This, like I said this, I think maybe last year or the year before. I don't think there's a clear consensus #1. Obviously, with pound for pound, it was subjective, but to a degree, right now you could say it's subjective with about 3 of these heavyweights as well. And I don't think there's a clear #1. You could argue between 2 or 3 guys. Although, in my opinion, right now, I just would not put Joshua 1 because he's just been knocked out and I know he just beat Ruiz, but a knockout the way he lost is damaging. Although at the same time some people talk about resumes, I think you gotta look at what you've done recently. I need to see more from Joshua. If he beats
here's how I look at it.
Maybe.
Here's how I look at it. Wilder has the most devastating wins. Fury has the best win of all of them when he beat a prime Klitschko, but he's honestly got he might have the weakest record of the three of them, if you discount the Klitschko fight, and Joshua has the best of the competition, but he's got the worst loss. So it really depends what you're looking at, because Wilder and Fury have never lost, let alone be brutally knocked down multiple times and lost a fight like that. But then AJ also has wins over Povetkin. He's got wins over Joseph Parker. Exactly. He's got a win now over Ruiz. And other than Klitschko, those guys are better fighters than most of the guys on Tyson Fury's record, and pretty much all of the guys on Deontay Wilder's record. And then the thing between Wilder and Fury is that I actually thought that Fury won that fight, but my opinion, and 50 cents will barely get me a cup of coffee in New York, so I've got to kind of discount that. And it was a draw at the end of the day, so for me it's really down to Wilder, probably number one, Fury slightly behind him, and then I would say Joshua's kind of significantly behind the second person, just because of the devastating nature of the loss he took.
Well,
I'd probably say, I'd probably say number one. I'd probably put Fury. Put Wilder maybe just slightly behind. That's based on, I thought Fury won that fight, and I'm not too sold on Wilder's resume, because outside Ortiz, I'm not sure if he's got really a signature win, and there are question marks over Ortiz, but I still think that was a legitimate win. I think some people overrate that win, and then there's other people who give him completely no credit. I think you need to keep it somewhere in the middle. I think Fury has beaten Klitschko, which was a very good win. I know Joshua also beat him, but Joshua has been stopped, and if Fury is unbeaten, that's what I think separates. With going forward, I'm not sure if he'll beat either one of these guys right now. Maybe in a year's time it might be a different question, but I need to see him fight a guy like Usyk or someone like that. I know people are saying, what has Usyk done? But Usyk, I think...
we lost him?
They ain't coming for me. I'm clean.
Those are definitely New York sirens. It's either my house or Keddy's house. These are definitely New York sirens.
It is definitely you hear the sirens in my home for sure. That's outside my window.
Okay, got
New
it.
York City,
I've got my headphones on, so it's tough to tell.
Yeah. But I guess just to respond to that, it's a difficult one, like I gave my 2 cents regarding what I thought regarding boxing resumes. I think that yes, Tyson Fury is when it comes to straight boxing, Tyson Fury is definitely the better boxer out of all three of them. Better resume, AJ. Hardest knockout punch, Wilder. How do you choose who actually wins between those three? Yes, responding to Chris P.
You forgot the greatest heavyweight of all of them, though. Usyk, man. Come on.
Oh, if you're talking about the greatest heavy, as in heavy, like he weighs a lot, that would be Ruiz. Stop playing. But we have somebody who I think should call in, who's watching the stream. His name is Chris P. He gave an opinion saying that Tyson is undefeated lineal champ. Wilder lost to the Gypsy King. I think we all believe that Wilder lost.
Yeah.
But we don't call those decisions. The ringside judges, they made their decisions, and we have to run with those.
Can you hear me though?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you,
man. Now, man. Go ahead.
All right. Sorry about that. I was just gonna say, I agree with what you guys are saying. Before I cut off, I was gonna say they need to fight each other. That's the main thing. Although I'm not sure right now. I don't think
it won't happen.
Joshua's protected right now. Maybe going forward next year, you could make the argument. Although I don't think a guy who was put in with someone like Klitschko in the 18th fight. I know Klitschko was coming off a layoff, but to me that was still a big step up. And then fighting guys like Povetkin and Parker, I think those are risky fights. Like I know there's a unification as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was protected. Like for someone to go in and fight Dylan White in their 14th or 15th fight and then be put into, I know Charles Martin wasn't the strongest champion. to me, I thought they built him up the right way. The bad thing was, though, I think they made some decisions which might not have been the best decisions, like going and trying to fight Big Baby Miller, and then he popped for PEDs, and then the whole thing with Ruiz. I think they underestimated Ruiz, and they were made to pay, but they've got the belts back, and right now I think maybe just try and keep those belts for next year.
AJ underestimated Ruiz, though. I mean, AJ underestimated him. AJ's team didn't, because they were telling him the right stuff to do on that night. He lost. He just didn't listen on that first round. You know, that first round in New York. This time he came in and he finally trusted his team. And this goes back to when everybody talks about when a fighter loses, they go, he needs to drop the trainer. He needs to drop the trainer. You know, this really reads of why you shouldn't do that immediately. Allow the trainer to make those adjustments, just like a fighter. Allow them to make those adjustments, and allow the trainer to listen. You should have listened to me. I've always said this. You start blaming the trainer when he has no information to give to his fighter in a corner, meaning that he just doesn't have anything. All he wants to do is a Teddy Atlas speech. You know, we're firemen, but there's really no direction of what to do. That's when I start questioning the trainer. That's when I start saying, I think we need to replace that guy. But his trainer was giving him all the right answers, even in that first fight. And the second fight, he actually stuck to the game plan, and he trusted the process of a plan that was already given to him the first time.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just have one statement to say, and that regarding something that Amilcar said earlier, which was that Anthony Joshua is not the best out of these guys because he took the ugliest defeat. He's probably the only one that's gotten a defeat. But I must tell you, a champion is not undefeated, but undaunted. All right? So take notes. Write that down. Make sure you listen. All right? That's valuable information right there.
I think Kenny has him number one. Kenny, you can make an argument. Like I said, I don't think anyone's definitively right. Going to the trainer, I think personally, this might happen with Ruiz now. Ruiz might get rid of his trainer. I think that's not the right thing. If you're not listening to your trainer or not following the instructions, then that's on you. Robert McCracken, I think what was the word? Like over criticized that first fight. That wasn't his fault. That was the fighter who wasn't listening to the trainer.
Right.
It was down to him. He was the one who wasn't the one who was following the game plan. I thought like Lennox Lewis was one of the main guys that called McCracken out. I think that was bad. He should not have done that.
Well,
based off one defeat.
Yes and no, because I really don't think that Robert McCracken trained him the way that he needed to be trained for that first fight with Andy Ruiz. And what I mean by that is, yes, Andy Ruiz was brought in on a few weeks' notice, but at that point, the training, really needs to be adjusted. And I think one of the main differences between Anthony Joshua in the first fight and the rematch was the jab. It's specifically the placement of the left hand. In the first fight, he was holding it really low, like almost down by his waist. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's something that they had been doing in training, but it's something that definitely should have been corrected in training. So they had a bit of time. They brought in different sparring partners. They knew what they were getting themselves in for the rematch. So I think he kind of redeemed himself. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you can say that Joshua was prepared well for that first fight with Ruiz.
I agree with you. Cosign.
Can I say? I just want to say this before I drop off. I'll let you guys get to the callers. With the weight, I think that was the bad thing. Like, Ruiz came so heavy, and the fight was like a 10 rounds to 2 on my card. I think some people had the 11-1 or a shutout. I do think Ruiz won 1 or 2 rounds, but that was not the gulfing class between the two. Ruiz came in so heavy, and Joshua was right on the money. But if Ruiz was in better shape, or the one that turned up on June the 1st, you might have seen a more competitive fight. Whether or not it would have been enough to beat Joshua, probably not. I think AJ is the better boxer. He's a more consummate professional, and I think that showed on the night. With going back to June the 1st, I think even if AJ was in better shape, slightly better shape, mentally, I don't think he was right that night for someone like Ruiz. I don't think he was prepared that night to fight, to be in the fight of his life. And I think Ruiz that night probably would have beaten a lot of the heavyweights. With AJ that night, he was way too big. That would maybe come down to weight and preparation. But mentally, I think he was nervous. There was something definitely not right with the guy mentally. And he thought he could just walk through the guy. The whole pressure maybe have got to him. But I think sometimes some guys need a loss or a bad loss like that to bring them down to earth. And I heard him on, I think it was the Steve Bunt's podcast. He was saying after that fight, he kind of now knows what to rectify what went wrong. I think before, some of the wins probably got to his head, because I think when you're beating everyone and you're knocking everyone out and got 80, 90,000 fans cheering you, you're probably not making some little adjustments when you're beating, you still need to do for each fight and each opponent. And I think
I heard him say that as well. In the podcast with Mike Costello and Steve Muntz. Great podcast, by the way, if anyone wants to check it out. It's BBC Radio 5 Live Boxing. But here's the thing, Hamed. Do you see him defeating Deontay Wilder? Are you confident, as somebody out there in the UK, that AJ can beat Wilder?
If they fought today, no. I'm giving my answer first. Sorry for skipping.
Rated on rated quantitatively. Give me a 0 through 10 score. How confident are you that he can defeat Wilder?
He just said no.
Right now, I think Wilder knocks him out. I think maybe in 12 months, or say one more fight, I've always said it's probably a 50-50 based on, I'll say 2 or 3 things. One, I don't think Wilder has fought anyone who hits as hard or anywhere near as hard as Joshua. You could make the argument vice versa, but Joshua has fought a guy in Klitschko who I believe had more knockouts than Wilder had fights and was a much better technically fighter. Whether or not he hits as hard as Wilder, we'll probably never know. I think you can make an argument Wilder probably hits harder than Klitschko based on some of the guys who have sparred or fought, or one of them or both of them, whatever. But I would probably say still is a 50-50 fight based on Joshua doesn't move his head, but if Joshua hits him, I think Joshua could knock him out. I'm not sure if anyone else hits as hard to stop Wilder right now, but you never know. I still really want to see the Ruiz-Wilder fight down the line. If Ruiz could keep his head up and maybe have a fight with someone like Wilder, stylistically, that would be a very good fight. I know people have criticized Joshua because he couldn't stop Ruiz. I just don't think he got the power, and Ruiz is way too tough. But if Wilder was to fight him, that would be an interesting factor. I would say Wilder's probably favorite, but if he could knock him out, that would be a very good statement, because I think Ruiz probably got the hardest whiskers right now at heavyweight. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Thank you for calling.
Thanks,
for
man.
calling.
Great show.
Thank you, brother. Greatly appreciate it.
Well, I'll tell you this really quick.
Go for it.
I'm going to say this really quick. Five guys, you want to call in, certainly can. 347-215-7598. Definitely how man always comes on and gives us a lot to think about. And I'll let you guys answer his final thought. But about a few more minutes, we're probably going to end up changing the subject. We're going to patch in another fight that's going to talk a little bit, hopefully, about his thoughts about Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. But I want to move on and talk about Terrence Crawford after this, and the Charlos. I think we need to touch a little bit on Charlos' fight this past Saturday. It was on Showtime, but also coming up this week. Let's not forget we got some fights coming up with Terrence Crawford. So let me patch in really quick. 209, you're on live right now. Leaving ring. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello.
About the Anthony Joshua fight, you know, I know a lot of fans were complaining that it was boring, but you know what? I actually kind of liked it. I mean, I saw a guy had a plan. He was executing it, doing a good job executing it. It was up to me. It was up to Ruiz to adjust, and he just didn't adjust. I mean, you know, it's a lot easier for me to say, you know, because I'm on my couch, you know, eating the Slurpee and stuff like that. You know, I mean, he didn't cut off the ring. He just followed him around the entire ring. You know, I mean, what can you say? Joshua, there's a lot of money involved. He's there to win. He's not there to make it a bar fight. That's my thoughts. I mean, I thought it was a well-executed plan. I mean, what more can you say? It was stick and move, hit and don't get hit. I mean, hell, it builds.
That's the sweet science, baby. You know.
I'm just surprised Andy Ruiz did not adjust. I mean, at least, I mean, well, what can you say? Joshua was just moving around. He was light feet, quick feet. I mean, he did a good job executing his plan.
Ruiz you know what? Ruiz never decided or even tried to interrupt the flow that AJ was doing.
I don't think he was capable. I don't think he was capable of doing that.
I don't think he was either.
I think the weight made him a little immobile. The weight made it hard for him to move all around the ring and cut off the ring. Sorry. Continue.
No, it's okay. I mean, I sparred like people that were smaller than me, quicker than me, faster than me, and one thing that really sucks is when you're trying to punch them, they're out the way, they're out the back door, they are gone. I mean, the minute you move your fist, they're boom, gone. And it's like, wait, just wait, man. Let me hit you. I sparred stuff like that. But, I mean, one thing you can do is cut off the ring. If they're moving to the right, cut them off. And then when they move to the left, cut them off again. But, like I said, it's easier for me to say, I was, enjoying the fight. Oh, I want to ask you guys. Did you guys have any trouble?
Be in shape to be able to do that, though, and you got to be able to switch angles quickly and have fast speed.
Yeah.
What was your question? Sorry, I didn't get to hear that.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any Did you guys have any streaming issues?
Hell yeah. Yeah. I had to go to the Espanol channel, dude. I mean, and even on there, it kept pausing, losing audio. I mean, yeah. I was really I thought maybe it was the weather. Because it was pouring like crazy on Saturday here in where I live at in Northern California in Riverbank.
I have a Xfinity a cable, and that I was watching it through my Xfinity apps, right? So it's basically a hard line going to Xfinity, and it kept loading on me. I'm like, what the heck? So what I try to do is I said, okay, well I'm gonna try it on my Fire Stick, see if that's okay. And it wouldn't let me do it. It said I had too many users logged in. I'm like, what the hell? I'm the only one using this. And it just, and this is not the first time I have problems with DAZN. Out of all the apps that I have, Hulu, Disney, ESPN Plus, Netflix. This is the one that gives me the trouble the most. So I'm actually thinking whether these people are skimping down on their technical finances or money that they use for technically, to run their streams through, whether they're financially strapped to where they're cutting costs in that, I don't know. But, I wonder if they really do have the capability of providing people a nice, clear stream. I mean, so far, I haven't had it. The big fights, forget about it. Huh?
I was mobile. I was on the go. I was at an event with my frat brothers, and I was actually watching the fight through my phone on my 4G connection. I didn't have a single problem. It streamed in like pure quality. It looked really good on my phone. So I'm surprised to hear that you had problems from like a computer or the Amazon device.
Well, this was the first time for me. I'll tell you that. It was the first time for me that there was having a lot of problems with it. And like I said, I thought the weather was contributing a problem to my stream. And now to hear that a lot of folks were having problems with it, it raises up concern. But like I said, this was the first time, so I'm not going to complain too much.
And I'm only paying $9. $10 a month. So, I'm still feel like I'm getting my money's worth. If I had to pay $20, then I'd probably catch it on the radio. You know what I mean? But for $10 a month, I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. Now, where do you guys think that Ruiz is going next? I mean, obviously my guess is he's going back to the PBC, and his fights most likely will probably be pay-per-view, whatever.
I hope not.
Yeah. Personally, I probably wouldn't buy his pay-per-views,
I don't
but
think
I wouldn't be
anybody would.
surprised if we see.
I don't think anybody
I
will
wouldn't be,
right now. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just the cost of the pay-per-views. They're like $75, and it's hard to justify one fight when you could pay months and months and months.
Especially
for
fight
he'll
for a
end up
guy
on
who just
Wilder
let you
pay-per-view.
down. Sorry, go ahead.
He'll end up
Yeah.
on a Wild pay-per-view. On the undercard of a Wild. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
But more likely, I think we're going to see him on Fox Sports or even on Showtime. I mean, Showtime hasn't really released their schedule yet, except for the Danny Garcia fight, the first fight that they have scheduled. But I don't see Ruiz right now. I mean, this is going to be a serious sit down with Andy Ruiz and PBC. They're going to have to really sit down with them and say, okay, what is your plans? What do you want to do next? What do you want to go after? So, because right now Ruiz has really no, and in that performance and the way he came in and the way a lot of folks feel they disrespected the sport, he doesn't have a leg to stand on to make any serious demands at this moment.
Yep. I think he should sign with the Zone. Forget PBC. Forget pay-per-view. Nobody's gonna pay to watch a pay-per-view. People would rather pay the $10 for the Zone app and get you on the undercard somewhere or get you on your own card, but with the $10 that they're already paying. It's not that he's not skilled.
I tell you what, but I say this too, though, Kenny. DAZN, why wouldn't they want him back on?
Yeah.
If he's going to make a return,
Agreed.
DAZN needs fights. DAZN needs to put him on. And like I said, Baby Miller would be the obvious choice, in my opinion, or Adam Kozlowski, who throws a lot of punches, would be my choice to get him back on there to see whether or not he did learn his lesson and he's full form and he's ready to go. If not, hey, I don't mind wasting $10 on seeing him on an app.
Yeah.
The other issue, for sure, is that the purse that he'd want is not something that he'd be able to get fighting on FS1 or on Fox if he's with the PBC. Showtime hasn't put on a really high-level fight in a while. They, with their budget, likely would not be able to pay him the kind of purse he'd want. So he'd have two options, really, which would be like a Fox pay-per-view, and I don't see enough people wanting to buy that pay-per-view. Or like Kenny said, his other option would be to go to a streaming service like DAZN. But the question there is because he's an Al Heyman fighter. No. There's no way Al Heyman, who's his advisor / manager, would let him sign a deal with ESPN Plus. And he may not even be able to fight long term in terms of contractually with DAZN either. So, but you're right. I mean, DAZN would kind of make the most sense for him because they have a bunch of heavyweights, especially European guys, that they'd be able to put him in there with. So yeah.
I co-sign with you guys.
PBC would be willing to do it. PBC would be willing to do it because if PBC goes, hey, if these guys are willing to pay him to be on their stream and nothing comes out of pocket for me, why not? It makes total sense, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, guys.
I would like to see him on my subscription, my DAZN subscription. I really would.
It would be dope. It would be cool.
Yeah, it'd be dope. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. I'm going to stay here on the phone, listen to you guys while I drive on the way home.
All right, brother.
Great show, gentlemen. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'll see you guys next week. All right.
Sounds good.
Bye.
See you then, brother.
Sounds good, man. Let's patch in some more fight fans here. Let's patch in some more fight fans here on Leaving the Ring. You guys want to call in 347-215-7598. Let's talk AJ Ruiz. Which way do they go? Who do they fight next? Do you want to see Ruiz back on DAZN or not? Let's patch in area code 510. You're on live right now. Leave what's on your mind, brother.
Hey, David. Hey, Kenny here. Milk Curse, Fernando over in Richmond. How you guys doing?
Hey, Fernando. How you doing, bro?
Good, man. Following up with what Troy said, first of all, I bought a used Apple TV from Craigslist, and that thing hasn't given me a problem. I've had DAZN pretty much since day one, man, since I think Joshua fought, I think, Povetkin or whatever, and it's never given me a problem. It's been pretty smooth with the newer Apple TV. And
most of the people that I've heard it have had... Sorry, go ahead.
Huh? Go ahead,
I was just going to say, most of the people that I've heard with issues have been people with Amazon Fire Sticks. I have Roku and it's been fine.
Yeah, so sometimes I think it's just the people's devices, aren't working perfectly. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows what really is. And that's the thing. Going back to like the whole thing. First of all, I'm like, I called you the first day, and Dave and I told you, man, it wasn't a good look him being 16 pounds overweight, right? Like I was already dubious of the guy, right? And he didn't let me down, man. He really disappointed me. Like this is the part that people don't understand, man. Like me as a boxing fan, right? Like. When somebody does this, right, when they don't come in like a decent way of fires and that he's the main event, you're really letting down the fans, man. Because I'll give you an example. I went to Corrales Castillo the first one, man. I had a great time, great fight, very lucky, blessed to be there. And I had such a good time. My cousins went to the rematch, right? They went to the rematch like a few months later. And if you remember, Castillo came in overweight, right?
Right.
It kind of put a damper on the whole weekend for them. Yeah, it ruined the whole week. They took they flew out there. They got hotel rooms. They paid for the tickets, and Castillo ruined the whole weekend for him. And he knocked out Corrales in the second round too.
I was like, what fucking balls this Vato has right now to say, sorry man, after three months apart, he wouldn't affect me. I was like, dude, Ruiz, like, what were you thinking, bro? I mean.
I don't know, man.
Try to be a bit political at least, you know what I mean? He goes, I don't want to make any excuses. I don't want to make any excuses, but I had a little bit too many Snicker bars, than I should have done during training camp. I just was like, I honestly, like I said, I felt embarrassed for him. But at the same time, I was a little pissed because just like you, Fernando, I'm like, bro, we tune in to watch a professional fight. And for you not to tune in to perform, what's the point of watching you? And then, you know what? I'm not a bandwagon fan. Everybody that tunes in to Leave the Ring are not bandwagon fans. We're true hardcore boxing fans. This is what we do. This is what we like, And for you to just say, sorry guys, but if you give me another chance, I'll make it up to you. Like, come on, bro. Mm-hmm. Come on. And you know what the shitty part though is, guys, is that we're actually saying when we're going to see him on the Zone or we're going to see him on Showtime. We are the battered girlfriend. We do continue to give him another chance,
That's the thing, though. How does the promoter put Andy Ruiz on pay-per-view, for instance, right? Because if he comes in at fucking 268 or 270 again or 280, that pay-per-view is dead right there that Friday in the weigh-in, right? And how do you sell tickets to that fight, right? I'm speaking about myself, man, because we were so excited about Andy earlier this year, right? Like we're like, when he comes back to Las Vegas or LA, we're there, dude. We're going. We're going to get rooms. We're going to get tickets. We're going to have a good time. Now, hell no. Why am I going to put thousands of dollars out to go to Las Vegas or whatever and cross my fingers the whole way that he doesn't come in fat? I'm not doing it. I'm not a sucker.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I was already expecting him to come in fat.
Really quickly before we continue forward, I have to take my moment. I have to gloat just a little bit. I have to take my moment, and I have to let these guys know I was the only one that was going for AJ. I said he was going to win the fight from the get-go, from the start, before we saw the weigh-in, and everybody was against me. I just got to take this credit because I don't usually win.
All right. Fernando, you got anything else you want to talk about here on Leave the Ring, bro?
Yeah, one of the things. Ken, you're not the only AJ fan, man. I got this on because of AJ, man. I'm a fan of his too, man. Like, don't think, that we don't love him out here, man. We do.
No, I believe you.
Great boxers.
I'm just talking junk.
That's another thing too, right? Like with AJ, man. Like people are like really down on him that he like kind of stunk it out, or whatever.
No.
To me, he just showed a new facet to his game that he didn't have before, man.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think this is more like Leonard Duran too, right? Sugar Ray, he kind of stunk it out against Duran in the second fight, but that wasn't his mentality. He didn't stink it out every fight after that. And I don't think AJ will either, man. I think, depending on the situation, he's capable of, like, kind of taking the arrow out a little bit and then going back and being aggressive, during a fight. So I was kind of amazed he, like, brought out a new facet of his game, that he didn't have before, that defensive style, which is really cool, man. It shows he has more skill that people give him credit for, It was a good game plan,
I think the only people that did not give... Sorry. I think the only people that did not give AJ credit for this fight is the casual boxing fan, not the serious boxing fan. The serious boxing fan understands what AJ did and why he did it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
Durant
also
too,
just
man.
the bitterness of too. I mean, unfortunately, in boxing, we have a lot of fans that are in love with either a particular fighter because of their ethnicity or where they're from, and they don't watch any other of the fighters around. It's a world sport, But for now, we're gonna let you go, bro. I appreciate the call, man.
All right, thank you.
Thank
right.
you.
We got a lot of calls here, man. So if we don't get to you, I apologize. I'm trying to get to everybody as fast as I can here. You want to call in 347-215-7598. Haters have opinions. Call back in, bro. I apologize. I'll get you in as quick as I can. But let me. What was that?
Sorry,
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you guys if you saw the Navarrete Horta fight and what you guys thought of it, because I got a few opinions about that too.
Didn't watch.
You didn't watch it?
ESPN.
I watched it.
No.
I watched it.
I was at an event. I couldn't watch it. I was at an event. Pardon.
I tweeted this Saturday. Obviously, this was a kind of a showcase fight for Navarrete, who's like a very offensively minded, exciting fighter. It was like a showcase fight pretty much for him in his hometown. But I got to be honest, I didn't like the referee work. A guy gets hit with a low blow, even if it's accidental. What happens? The referee breaks them apart and gives the guy who got the low blow, 5 minutes to recover. I mean, in the very round that this fight was ended, there was like a really bad headbutt between the two of them. And he literally just turns to Francisco Horta and goes, no paso nada, and forces him to fight again. Did you notice that, David?
I did.
I had
but
a
I
problem
also
with
noticed
that, man.
Like you said, it was a home fight. I think they wanted to have a knockout reel so they could showcase it. I mean, a lot of times when we see that, I mean, I didn't expect much, to tell you the truth. I tuned in because it was Saturday night, but I agree with you wholeheartedly about everything what you just said right now. Let me patch in. I think it's Haters Got Opinion here online right now with us. Are you there, brother?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yo.
Talk a little
What's going
bit,
on, man?
Good, man. Can I change the subject to Ruiz real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, man. I think Eddie Hearn is a genius. Just want to say that right now. The man chose the right month for this fight. Ruiz was having a good old time for Thanksgiving, eating all the tacos, all the burritos he could find, drinking all the Coronas, smoking the weed. He was having a good old time. He wasn't ready. He never seen money before. Finally got money in his hand, went crazy. Or I don't know how many Rolls Royce mansions. I heard his mansion got 30 rooms. He don't even know 30 people. Went crazy.
That's where he's storing all the food. That's where he's storing all the food.
Yeah, I saw the mansion. I saw the mansion party. Women naked in the mansion party. But last Saturday, even Yui Fury would have beat Andy Ruiz. All that running, all that movement, that boy got tired. Yui Fury would have shown shades of Ali last Saturday versus Ruiz.
That's a good point. That's a good point, bro.
You need to go back
Ruiz
to
was
training
moving.
camp. He was slow.
Moving like. Have you guys watched The Mandalorian? He was moving like Baby Yoda.
Yes,
taking
he
very
was.
small little steps, man. I was like, what is going on?
There was rounds he didn't land a punch. There was rounds he was just he didn't know how to cut off the ring or nothing. He was just following him, and it was looking bad, man. It was looking bad. It was, man, all that money they got paid for that fight, and to AJ, to be honest with you, AJ fought scared, but he got the job done. But if I was AJ, I would just give him a third fight because it looks like AJ is going to get hit again by anybody. A third fight would be the most dangerous thing for AJ.
I agree with you, bro. That was the one thing that I walked away noticing and asking, I don't know if this guy is ever going to be confident again to sit in there and trade.
He's mentally broken. Mentally broken.
I don't think he's broken. And this is from
yeah.
Pardon. Go ahead.
I think if he fights,
you don't think he's Camacho? You don't think he's Camacho?
Man, he's
Kenny?
Adrian Broner right now. Definitely Adrian Broner. Afraid.
He's not Humpty Dumpty. You know, he didn't get busted into a million pieces. But like I said earlier, he's a teddy bear. You know.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think he's going to step up to Wilder anytime.
I agree with that. I agree with you.
Yeah,
he shouldn't fight Wilder.
Joshua might, I think
Fury.
Joshua should just fight Pulev. Because Pulev looks like
I agree, Pulev.
Fight. Yeah, and that dude has been his IBF mandatory for like 6 years. You know, I think that's the safest way to go. Andy Ruiz rematch or Pulev, but everything else is just kind of hard, man. And you know who else looks like shit?
Who?
You know who looks like shit?
Who?
Dillian White.
We agree with that.
We said that.
Dude
We
looked
said
like
it.
shit. He looked
Terrible.
like shit without steroids. Oh my God.
Yeah, he did.
But even when he used steroids,
That's a good point.
Rivas, he looked like shit too. I don't know, man. He keep calling up. You know, Wilder said he wants to kill somebody. He might be the right one. White might be the one.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but that's true.
Yeah, man, he looked like shit, man. But
Now his belly fat was like all over the place. It was really him. It was really bad. It was really bad. Like even Ruiz's belly fat like kind of sticks in behind the trunks a little bit. Like Dillian White's belly was like all over the trunks.
Yeah. I think Dillian White should fight Ruiz next. That would be, if I was Dillian White, because I'll pick somebody fat,
That'd be a good fight.
Battle of the Bulge.
That'd be good. Yeah, that would actually be a good fight.
Yeah, I would see.
The zone is not gonna let Andy Ruiz leave like that. They love that boy over there.
Yeah.
He's a name.
He should stay there.
He's a name.
For his career to be the best for moving forward, he should stay with the zone. Anything else would be not too much of a good move for him.
Yeah, he's getting paid. The only people I would like, look, after seeing last Saturday, I don't want to see Ruiz fight anybody that's taller than him. Because you just got to do what AJ did last Saturday to beat him.
I don't know if I agree with that. If he loses weight, his legs are gonna be much better. He's gonna be able to cut off the ring and move around and catch up much more. And he was, even with his slow 290, 300, whatever pound body, he was still landing some jabs to the body and some jabs to the face.
He couldn't cut off the ring with Parker though, Kenny. He couldn't cut that ring off. That's why those rounds were so close.
But Parker is much more agile. Pardon. What was that?
Look, man, Usyk will beat Ruiz. Usyk, Tyson Fury, people like that. Wilder only takes one punch to get him out the way. Those tall people are just too much for Ruiz. I would like to see Ruiz versus Adam Kanowski.
Yeah,
that's
another good
one. I would like to see that. Yeah, or Big Baby Miller.
Fight.
Yeah, people like.
Yeah, we brought both of those fights up earlier.
I don't know about Big Baby Miller. I mean, he would be good, but whatever.
If Miller could pass the drug test,
Before Miller gets any possible big opportunity again in boxing, he needs like 5, 6, like just whatever matches versus regular dudes, just like as a punishment for all those damn drugs that he used to try to beat Anthony Joshua. He shouldn't get a big opportunity where he's gonna get a lot of money.
Yeah, the thing about him is he's a smart guy. He's not gonna go fight the top 10. His whole career was based on fighting nobodies that he knew he could win, and he got the opportunity.
Right.
And he's going to go for that again. He's not going to jump into a King Kong, people like that. He's not going to just jump into that. He knows that. He won't even fight White. He's a smart dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, brother. Well, thanks for calling in, man. I really appreciate it, bro. All right, man.
Next
we'll
Saturday, Terrence Crawford, man.
We're going to talk about that right now.
I wish I could tell you I was excited, but I don't know.
Before we actually move away from this card, David, and move on to Terrence Crawford and the Charlos and everything else, I think that we should give just a tiny little bit of shine to Michael Hunter and Povetkin. Because
that was a good fight.
I think that was
it was a good fight.
I think that was the second most exciting fight of the night, and it probably was even a little more exciting than the AJ fight. But I was so hyperactive and excited for the AJ fight that was like everything to me, So, but I think that was probably a little more exciting than the AJ Ruiz fight, if you ask me. Great fight to have on the undercard.
In terms of being competitive, it absolutely was.
I was going to say that. Yeah, exactly, Milcar. The thing though too about Hunter was. Let me ask you guys: did you guys get the answers of why people were so high on him about being a heavyweight? Because I can tell
No.
you this, I didn't. I just saw a guy that's very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Dude,
I agree.
he didn't show me anything to prove that he's ready for the big boys in the heavyweight division. Look, we knew who Povetkin was. Povetkin was a guy who fought as an amateur as a heavyweight, not as a super heavyweight, but as a heavyweight, where there's a 200-pound limit. Since he's been a pro, he's been undersized. All right, he's boxed pretty well, but a lot of that we've come to discover was under the influence of performance-enhancing drugs. And, now he's in his 40s and is an undersized heavyweight. So I wasn't convinced by anything Michael Hunter did because, look at the result. He got a draw against an undersized 40-year-old heavyweight.
Yeah. I
He's
do.
trying to come out of form.
Oh,
Go
that
ahead, Ken.
David? I missed it. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna say that I do agree with what haters have opinions wrote on our stream chat. He said that he felt Hunter beat Povetkin. I agree with that. Although I still don't think Michael Hunter has proven himself. I think just looking at the way he performed against Povetkin, I think that Anthony Joshua messed up by choosing Ruiz instead of Hitman Hunter, because Hunter would have gone down with a KO if he would have fought AJ.
Absolutely. But you know what? I just to add to that, Kenny.
Yeah.
You could have given the fight to Hunter on the scorecards, but I wasn't really too mad about it because Povetkin was actually denied a knockdown. There was a point in the fight earlier on where he knocked Michael Hunter off his feet, and the ropes kept him up, and the referee did not call that a knockdown, and it should have been a 10-8 round for Povetkin, and it wasn't. So given that it was a draw, I actually think that was a very fair result, considering that if that had actually been called what it was, which should have been a knockdown, Povetkin would have won that fight.
I still think Hunter. I think Hunter landed the cleaner shots. I think he was he was fighting at the tempo he wanted. This is what I think where he failed at, guys. This is where I think he failed at. He wanted to make a statement. He showed up, first round. He comes out, he swings, catches Povetkin, drops him, and we've seen it happen with fighters. Once they see the guy get dropped, they think mentally the fight is done. It's over. And he allowed Povetkin back in that fight because he thought it was done. It was over. He dropped him. Povetkin looked out on his feet for a minute, and then he slowly worked his way back in. It just seemed like, for me, Hunter kind of just threw out his whole load, and then he had to, re-energize to get himself back in the fight. And he allowed Povetkin to win, seconds and minutes of rounds that he shouldn't have allowed him to do.
You're right, David. I also think that he gave up the last 2 rounds.
I agree.
And it's tough to do that and to win a fight like that. I mean, Povetkin did well in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, Hunter, I think, went in there trying to make a big statement and prove himself in the heavyweight division. And I think in trying to make a big statement, like you said, David, he emptied out the tank way too early. And, that caused them a lot of trouble at the end of the fight. And that's literally what made him, in turn, look bad and make me feel like he's not worthy of a big fight in the heavyweight division until he has a better performance against a 40-year-old man like Povetkin.
The reward is
Where does
too
he go
low
from here, guys?
for top heavyweights. The reward is too low to fight him, unfortunately,
Agreed.
for him.
Oh, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Where does he go? I mean, who comes after this kid? Who wants to take him on? I mean, I think Ruiz right now has some pickings he could do to make a comeback. I would like to see Hunter versus Ruiz. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I have to say that I wouldn't want to see Hunter versus Ruiz because I have Ruiz winning that one easily. I would actually like to see Hunter. You're gonna laugh at this one. I feel like Hunter needs to prove himself.
Go ahead.
I feel like he needs to prove himself. So I think that he needs to fight somebody like low class fights that'll continue growing his name. Nah.
The problem is he doesn't want low class paydays.
Too bad.
So that's his issue
Too bad. I mean, his stock.
He doesn't want to make he doesn't want to make 20, 25, 30, $50,000 a fight. He wants to be making six
Well,
figures.
well, I get that. Then he
kind
needs
of
to
the
make
issue.
himself look better. His stock is definitely on the rise since he was on that undercard and he got seen by all of Anthony Joshua's fans. So his stock is definitely on the rise. He could probably demand more of a crowd now. But I have to say, he didn't look too amazing in that fight. So he would have more people that will watch his fight. But will people watch him versus Age or something like that?
I gotta disagree with you. I think. Listen, I don't. Okay, in terms of amazing, like in what category of amazing are we putting him at? Because he showed up to fight, he came in shape, he showed that he wants to make a statement and he wants to throw power punches. He's not trying to play it safe. If you put that all together, that's an ingredient of let me see him again. To say that he's got to go fight a bunch of nobodies to get to the level of saying, oh, he deserves it now. I think the kid fought as if he was saying, I deserve to get a better name in front of me. I don't see what the problem is. I said, serve him up, let him have his way.
Nah, he's gonna get Cade. Go for it.
I was just gonna say that the route for a guy like Hunter is to climb the divisional rankings and the sanctioning bodies and to become a mandatory. You're not going to become an optional defense for a major fighter. This is just how boxing works. So he's got to climb the divisional rankings in one of the sanctioning organizations until he becomes a mandatory challenger, and then he's got to prove himself then.
Yeah, I can definitely see that point. I could definitely agree with that point too, Milker. That's a very good point. That's a very good route for him to take because he did not look good. Like, if you ask me, the person who I was going to mention, which I already wrote in the YouTube chat, that he should fight is Huey Fury. And why? Because
that's a good one.
Povetkin fought.
That is a good one.
He fought Huey Fury, I think, right before he fought Hunter, if I'm correct. And he beat Huey Fury up. Beats Huey Fury up. So since Hunter could not beat Povetkin, then we'll try to beat the guy that Povetkin just beat. Right? Am I wrong? Huey Fury, get yourself a little more experience, and then see if you could beat Huey Fury way worse than Povetkin beat him, and then try to get that rematch with Povetkin and see if you could show out the second time.
The only issue I have with that is that he's not really ranked. Huey Fury is not really ranked.
Yeah.
So
true.
he's not going to climb any of the sanctioning body. I think it's a good matchup for him. I do, but I just don't see that fight taking him where he wants to go, or at least where we think he wants to go, which is towards a world title, right? So, IBF, I'm looking at the number 4 ranked guy, Ajit Kabayel. Maybe WBA number 1 ranked is Trevor Bryan. Maybe try to get that fight. Maybe Oscar Rivas would be good for him because Oscar Rivas is probably looking for a fight, and Rivas is ranked 5th. You've got Daniel Dubois ranked 6th in WBO, and Junior Fa ranked 7th. They're slightly ahead of him because he's ranked 8th. So he's ranked in the WBO. So that's where he's ranked. He's also ranked in the WBA. So and in the IBF. So that's probably where he's going to go. WBC, forget about it because he's not ranked in their top 15.
All right. So I think we've probably spent about more time than we can afford on Povetkin and Hunter. If I'm correct, we should probably be moving on to Charlo Hogan. That was another great match this weekend. It was not on the same card, but it was another great matchup that I thought ended with a bang. And I'm a Charlo fan, and that was a bang.
I thought it was an impressive knockout until you consider the opponent that he fought.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Hogan's main claim to fame was fighting Munguia in Mexico and not getting a good decision there. Hogan is a guy. Hogan's a guy who moved up from 154 pounds and doesn't carry a lot of punching power with him. So he really didn't pose much of a threat. And, I think it's about time that people start calling his trainer out on his bullshit because it's the same trainer that trains Jeff Horn. And it's like
who's training?
His philosophy is you have to be unpredictable. Then Hogan.
Okay.
You've got to be unpredictable and herky-jerky and, you shouldn't know what you're doing in there. I mean, look, that may work for 2-3 rounds, but as it's shown, everybody can figure that shit out eventually if you're a high-level fighter. I've never been impressed by that guy as a trainer. This herky-jerky style that he claims he's invented by kind of mixing up different martial art forms.
It's not really
I'm not
working.
impressed by it. What do you think, David?
I agree with you, man. I mean, if let's say second, 2 rounds in, and you're not taking control, I think that's the bar. I mean, for me, the bar is 1 round is the fill-out round. Second round, let's start doing some feints. Let's try to make the other guy, let's see his weaknesses, right, with feints and et cetera. When you're doing the herky-jerky, you guys talk about power. That's probably some of the reason why he doesn't have any power behind his punches.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have the time to plant his feet where they need to be. I've always told this to so many folks I see go in the boxing gyms, and they're trying on the gloves, and I'll watch them hit the bag off crazy and super hard, and I always tell them, like, if you don't know how to get your feet underneath you, all of that doesn't matter. Unless you have God-given power that like Wilder, that can just take you out off balance, or Prince Ahmed, it can just knock you out with either hand being off balance. But your footwork has to be in place to land heavy shots. And sometimes the herky-jerky also, in my opinion, going, all this movement, you take your eyes off the ball. And you need that.
Yeah.
You need to be able to read what your opponent's going to do next. And that's why – go ahead.
I'm just saying, I mean, the minute I hear a trainer say his fighter shouldn't even know what he's doing in there, I'm like,
No, that's
bro, are you serious? Like that? What kind of bullshit is that? No, you need to have a plan. The people who don't, it's kind of like the president when they're like, oh, he's doing things because he's unpredictable, and unpredictability, keeps people on edge. And like, no, it doesn't.
Right.
He the guy was
maybe once or twice, like you said.
Yeah, maybe once or twice, and then they figure out that it's a game. And he's not fooling anybody. So look, because of this, I know I kind of veered off topic with the question, Kenny. So I'm going to bring it back to what you said. I wasn't too impressed by Charlo. I thought Charlo did great. You can only do what you can against the guy who's in front of you, but I don't think it proved anything. I don't think Charlo's any better than I thought he was on Friday, if that makes sense.
I hear you.
No, I don't agree. I think he performed exactly what he expected, which he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Which take a lesser guy out in that type of a fashion. It was a Charlo night. I want to see him step it up. I want to see him do bigger things, and I eventually want to see guys cross the street. I want to talk about Crawford, and I want to talk about Teofimo Lopez and Comey. I want to go with Lopez and Comey first. I think that is the more interesting and better fight. I think you guys would agree about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I jump on this one?
Yeah,
Go
of course.
All right. So, sometimes when you like people, you don't like them. A lot of it's irrational. I speak to a guy at my workplace who I like a lot. We're very close at work, who just doesn't like Bernie Sanders. And you ask him why he doesn't like Bernie Sanders. I just don't like him. Okay, you don't like him.
One of those guys.
The way he looks or talks or whatever the case. I'm going to be honest with you. From the jump, I haven't liked Teofimo Lopez. The reason I haven't liked him is because I think he's talented for sure, but the arrogance and the cockiness he has for someone with the record and experience that he has, like, the two are just not matching up.
Outrageous.
All right? And also for someone like me whose family's from Central America, the fact that he's, this is probably a little off topic, I'm just going to say it, is flying the Spanish flag around and is fighting for Spain. I'm like, bro, like, what are you talking about? You're from Central America. The Spanish people conquered us. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They brought over slaves. They murdered and massacred indigenous people, and you're flying their flag and like, dude, stop it, okay? And then after the last fight with the Japanese dude, right? I mean,
right.
He didn't look too good.
He didn't look good. And
No,
if anything,
he
the
didn't.
cockiness level is now on 10 when it used to be on 9.9.
I think his cockiness
You know-
comes solely from the ESPN
dad.
guys gassing him up. Solely from that. Like he had that one-on-one interview with Max Kellerman. He's been on several interviews where it's like they call him over to places specifically to interview him. Not like it's not a interview like after his fight or before his fight or something like that. No, you'll see him like in isolated places where ESPN dudes having interviews. They're the ones that have filled his head up with all this gas. You know, and he ain't doing it himself.
I remember in one.
I think his dad has contributed to that as well too, though, Kenny. His dad is the same way, very cocky. I gotta tell you this: I like the kid. Okay, I actually enjoy, because I've always said you gotta have bad and good in boxing.
Bravado.
That's what sells the sport. Okay, the story of it. The one thing that I don't like though is that when he has a competitive fight, like right now with Comey, guys, everybody should be talking about Comey. Comey's almost kind of sneaking into the ring on this Saturday night the way Kelly.
Comey's a
snuck
really
in.
good
Remember,
fighter.
He's a really good fighter. Miranda, remember they were pumping up Miranda. He was a trash talker, a power hitter. Still was very questionable in his boxing skills. He was riding off the Arthur Abraham win, and nobody took notice of Kelly Pavlik, a guy that was a 1-2 tall, big middleweight. Right now, the way I'm looking at it is the light is still shining on Lopez, and they're almost forgetting that he has a really dangerous guy by the name of Richard Comey. I don't know about you guys. I'm going to give my pick right now. I like Lopez, but I think Comey's going to humble him a bit, just a bit. I'm going to give it with Comey, though. I think he takes the fight.
One for Comey.
I usually wait until the weigh-in to make my predictions. I didn't do that last week, and I paid for it. I'm not doing that again.
Nah.
So check in with me on Twitter on Saturday or on Friday evening, and I'll give you my prediction. I'm waiting for the weigh-in, and I'm stretching this out.
Yikes. Well, I guess I could see, because the last weigh-in was a little traumatizing, so I guess I can understand just a bit. But just off of what I've seen from both fighters and their previous experience, I think Comey got this one. He's the more experienced guy. He seems to be a little bigger and longer. I think Comey got this. He didn't do too great in his last fight, Teofimo. So, unless he's made some drastic improvements in terms of fighting style, speed, and footwork, I see Comey winning this fight. Milcar, we don't see you on screen anymore.
What we witnessed with Lopez is that when you have a guy that's not going to let you play that role of arrogance that you show outside the ring, in the ring, he has problems. The Japanese kid exposed that. He had problems with a guy that actually was there to win rounds and try to win the fight. Comey's the same kind of guy. I mean, you talk about Mexican fighters, you talk about Central American fighters. He comes from a place where they're known to go through the fire. He did it with Easter, so with Easter Jr. So I know that Comey's coming to win. Unless for some reason he didn't train, then we might have a problem. But I don't see that happening. And like I said, I don't think Comey's going to allow Teofimo Lopez to be Lopez.
Yeah.
When they face each other, I just don't see that happening at all. So it's going to cause a lot of problems for Lopez. Lopez is going to have 2 game plans, in my opinion.
My question for you, David, is who is Teofimo Lopez? What is Teofimo Lopez? You said that Comey is not going to allow us to see Teofimo Lopez. Who is Teofimo Lopez? What skills does he possess?
He's a guy who's quick, twitchy, good reaction time, very athletic, can do
just
backflips.
Good power, bro. That's it. He has some good power.
Good power, but not like crazy like Inoue or Wilder style power. You know what I mean? Look, the Japanese dude went 12 rounds with him. I'm sorry, Japanese dude. I can't remember your name off the top of my head.
I can't remember his name either.
I'll go look it up.
Somebody could put it in the chat room.
But,
I'll go look it up right now.
he didn't have the biggest amount of experience. Now, if he could do that, I have all confidence in Comey that Comey can do it.
I think it's looking like we all got Comey. But the guy who Teofimo Lopez previously fought was Masayoshi Nakatani.
That's him.
Nakatani, excuse me, no disrespect.
Nakatani, yeah.
I think right now it looks like we're voting 3-0 for Comey, but like Emil Carr said, he's gonna hold his vote back till next week, so we're just 2-0. But I think we spend a lot of time.
No, I never said next week. Yeah.
The weigh-in, yeah. So I think we spend enough time on this topic. Don't want to drag it too much, and we have quite a few other topics that we have to discuss in the 20 minutes that we have remaining. So let's move on to that Terrence Crawford match.
Well, we need to talk about who is Teofimo Lopez, who is the machine. I mean, everybody was high on him, and I remember I sit back and be like, I mean, why are we high on this guy right now? He hasn't done anything, you know. I've seen this too many times. I remember when what's his name? Matisse. Okay, Matisse. Everybody was high on Matisse. You know, the machine. This guy, and I was like, man, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I still think that he has too many flaws. When they signed on to fight Danny Garcia, more people wanted to see Danny Garcia get knocked out because for whatever reason they didn't like the kid, and I had picked Danny to beat Lucas Matisse. Here goes the Green Machine, which now it was exposed. The last fight, the last two fights, the last three fights, he's not that good. Crawford expressing his frustration about PBC. Bro, why are you complaining? You signed on the dotted line with Top Rank. You knew what Top Rank had, and you knew that Top Rank was going to feed you in-house fights. Bob Arum and Top Rank don't play very well in the sandbox of other promoters. He's never has. If he has, we would have seen Nonito Dornier in the bantamweight World Series when he was signed. We would have seen super middleweights if he had any. I don't know if he had anybody in the Showtime tournament. We would have seen any of these guys. And
well,
right
you would have
now,
also seen Jose Ramirez in the WBSS at the 140.
Right. So he's proven he doesn't play very well. He likes to keep it in-house until it's all done, it's all used up. He sucked it dry like a vampire. Then he goes on and looks for other sources. I'm not surprised. Terrence Crawford's team made the IQ to perform and continue to be, which is everybody's pound for pound. But outside right now complaining about what the business move you did, it's nobody's fault. It's not Al Heyman's fault. It's not Lou DiBella's fault. It's not DAZN's fault. It's your fault.
Agreed. Cosign.
I got nothing to add to that. I agree 100%.
Cosign wholeheartedly.
So it's going to be a knockout reel again. That's what we're getting. You know, and it seems like that's all we're going to be getting so far from Crawford until he kind of wises up and forces Bob Arum to go outside of the Top Rank house. He's gonna have to make him go outside. And the way Pacquiao made him do it, the way Floyd decided to move on and said, hey, I can't do this anymore. Mikey Garcia.
I stand corrected, David. I stand corrected. Okay. Jesse Vargas. He can fight Jesse Vargas or possibly. That might be an option for him.
Who are we talking about?
Terrence Crawford.
I thought Jesse was with the zone now.
That was actually a joke. I don't want to see him fight Jesse Vargas.
I was about to say, why would he do that?
You're gonna probably end up seeing him fight.
If you rewatch the stream that we have going on, when you said Jesse Vargas, you see my face wrinkle up. Like what?
No, I wasn't. Honestly, I don't have anything against Jesse. I actually think he's a good talker, but I don't really get too excited for his fights. Just saying. But if you look down the WBO rankings, he's got Kavaliskis, his mandatory, then he's got Jesse Vargas, Danny Garcia, Sergey Lipinets, Virgil Ortiz, Mika Showina, Custio Clate. Like, I'm going down the list. There's not much exciting there, man.
There's none. There's
not
really
much
none. And right now,
there.
we don't know what's going to happen with Errol Spence. I mean, I saw that picture that was posted that somebody was able to maintain, get from his mugshot. I was even questioning if that really happened. For a minute, I thought Errol Spence was like a transformer, man, because we didn't see any injuries. I seen the picture. I was thinking, like, this guy, is it really true? Did he really get in the wreck? So, right now, I mean, I think if anything, Crawford, because of what's going on with Spence, I think it would be a smart move for Crawford. Tell me if you guys disagree about this. But for him to now start chirping in Bob's ear, going, hey, they're going to need somebody. I mean, the beauty part is that, and this is what pisses off a lot of folks about Al Heyman. I'm not a cheerleader for any promoter. What I like is good fights, okay? But this is the move that Al Heyman did, and pisses off a lot of fans, which is kind of weird. Al Heyman took the playbook from Bob Arum. Keep it in the house. Get all the fighters you can. Yeah, get all the fighters that you can. Keep it in the house. The way he did it, was it shitty? Yeah, it was. But you know what? Boxing did not come from roses and medals and all that. It came from a dark corner. The sport is still in a very dark corner.
Two things about Al Heyman. And first is that he never prevented Andy Ruiz from going to DAZN to get those paydays. He also never prevented Daniel Jacobs from going to HBO to get those paydays. And
Amir Khan.
Amir Khan. I don't have an issue with him at all. I actually think he does very well by his fighters. And just to prove a point, Yordenis Ugas back in September, I remember, and I pulled up his tweet. He said in a tweet, over the years, I have heard terrible stories from managers and promoters that even many were champions, and once they become promoters, do not treat their fighters in the best way. But I never thought there would be a man like Al Heyman in boxing. It is a blessing for the sport. That's what Ugas said about Al Heyman. And to me, that says a lot, because most Cuban boxers have really been taken advantage of by managers and promoters. And that's probably what he was referring to there. Yeah. So he definitely does well by his fighters.
I mean, look, they all break the Ali Act. They'll point fingers at each other. Golden Boy, Top Rank, PBC. I mean, they all do the same crap. That's what amazes me. But the problem is that fans will start making these certain weird alliances among what Eddie Hearns or anybody. I like good fights. I don't care where you come from. I don't understand this whole cross the street talk. I don't understand the whole, we don't need to be in a tournament. We could do our own thing. Yeah, Jose Ramirez is doing great. He's doing great selling out in his hometown and what he backs up. I love it. But guys, it eventually dies out when you're fighting guys like the Mean Machine, who should be called the Green Machine. That dies out. The lust that we have for a fighter, it fizzles out. The crackers get stale.
Right.
So
I agree.
I don't know what else to say about Terrence Crawford, except for he's going to get another knockout. He's going to get another mandatory or available fighter that Top Rank is going to pay, because they're going to jump at it immediately. While the other guys that are in the welterweight division and across the street, they're going to continue to fight in-house, because the one thing that they're parading right now is saying to Bob Arum and Terrence Crawford is, we don't need you.
They don't need him. But it's the truth. They don't really need him. And
PBC don't need Top Rank, but that's horrible for Top Rank.
He went with Top Rank knowing that they had very limited welterweights in their stable. He used a loophole in the WBO to become WBO champion, because he was the champion at 140. So he had automatic rights to immediately fight for a title at 180, and challenged the weakest of all of the heavyweight title holders in Jeff Horn out of Australia. So, look, I don't really have much sympathy for him. He should fight as much as he can. When the contract's over, make another move from there.
Ahmed just posted something. I remember this fight. When Porter and Spence fought, I had said Porter had it was a great fight, great performance. Porter showed up to fight, okay? Porter immediately should have been saying to Al Heyman, hey, go talk to Bob. Let me get in there with Crawford. Crawford also too should know that Errol Spence is going to finish business with what's available, just like what Bob has done for his career, what's available in-house. So Crawford right now should be telling Bob, hey, let me have Porter. You know, if there's no talk of a rematch between Porter and Spence, let me get him. Because there was a lot of folks that believed that Porter did enough to win, or it should have ended up another way, you know, another outcome. Let me get in there. Let me be the guy that Spence obviously had some trouble with. That's exactly the moves. If I was a manager for that kid, that's what I would be pushing for. You know, but I'll tell you why too, Amilcar, why he probably signed. Money says it all, man. Money talks.
Yeah.
And also, not just money. When you're being told that you're first priority above everybody else and treat it like a king, hey, why not? I'm going to stick to where they're telling me I'm first priority. We're signing on a big deal with ESPN Plus. You know, you're going to be the face of ESPN Plus. You're going to be this. How much shit was actually sold to him before he signed on that dotted line? Bob is not a dumb man, guys. He's not a stupid man. He's been in the business for what, 88 years? I mean, he's 88 years old. So it's probably, 60-something plus years he's been in this business. So Bob's not a dumb guy.
He used them to boost subs for sure.
I do agree that Bob Arum is not a dumb guy, but Top Rank was a stupid choice for him to choose. I just looked it up, and his contract is over with Top Rank in 2025. That's like 5 years.
Damn.
Either he's gonna go down as the best untested welterweight retiree. Or he better start getting in Bob Arum's ear about doing these cross-platform fights where it's PBC versus ESPN, because hey, he is the biggest, I think, the biggest fighter that Top Rank has. This was Terrence Crawford's statement when he signed the contract extension. He said, I am the best fighter in the world, hands down. ESPN is the best brand in sports, and Top Rank is the biggest promotional company in boxing. That was why, like, you know, his thoughts on why he signed to Top Rank. So all sounds stupid to me because, if you wanted a bigger brand, guess what? Top Rank is really not promoting you like that. They're not. They're promoting the other fighters.
Well, look. Top Rank does phenomenal jobs in building their fighters.
Yeah.
You know, to a household name.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence Crawford, you could say, is a household name. They did their job. You know, it's like the music business. Okay. If a major label has a Amilcar, right, and Amilcar is selling millions and millions of records, and here comes Kenny, has similar style, but is younger, fresher, and possibly can threaten the cash cow, what they'll do is sign you, and then they promise everything that they said they were going to do, make you an album, make a music video, do all this other stuff. Right? All this other stuff. But in the contract, they never stated we had to release you. Bob knew that if what's his name, Al Heyman got a hold of him, that's it. It's a done deal for him for his welterweight division, which Manny Pacquiao at one time was in that division, right? Yeah. Was in that division. So what Al did, in my opinion, signed him, promised him everything, but at the same time, never promised, well, I'm not going to work extra hard to get you across the street. You know, I know that the Crawford fans were going to argue that he's the best welterweight. But here's the thing. Spence, if he's well, and nothing stopped him from that accident to performing the way he should continue to perform in, he has a stronger case of saying he is the welterweight, the best welterweight in the division right now, this era, because at least he has, 5, 6, 7 fighters to continue to match up with, and possibly rematch with Porter, which a lot of us like myself would want to see again.
Yeah.
I would like to see Crawford. Yeah, we got a couple minutes. We got 7 left. You want to switch topic, or you got something you want to talk about? Bring it up.
No. Go ahead. I want to hear what you got to say.
Gotcha. I just think Crawford is an amazing, very respectable fighter. Me and Amilcar actually got to see the guy fight live when he was in the 140-pound division, and it was a great experience. I would like to see him fight Spence. I would like to see him fight Danny Garcia. I would like to see him fight. Forgot the other guy's name. You just mentioned him. Spence just finished fighting.
Thurman. Does Thurman still fight?
I would like to see.
Hey. Oh no, Thurman's right here. Thurman's right in front of us. He's on the third little screen slot.
Oh, damn it!
Kenny one time.
Hey,
Kenny one time.
It would be.
Hey, Kenny, really quick.
Yeah, talk to me.
Do us a favor, real quick, Kenny.
Yeah.
Before the 5 minutes run out,
yeah.
Bring out your flute and flute us out. Out of the show, man. Can you do that? Woo, that's his nickname,
hey,
that's his new nickname.
I don't know how to play
Kenny,
it.
one time Thurman.
Oh, damn
Yeah,
it.
Kenny one time. Trust me, I've been saying it for a while.
Yeah, he
I
has.
just haven't done it on air.
he actually asked me if he could say that on air before. I was like, fuck, whatever, man. We having fun. Go for it. I don't care. Let's go for it.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, so no, it was interesting. I mean, Kenny likes Terrence Crawford so much that when he was fighting a compatriot of his, Felix Diaz, who was an Olympian, a gold medalist, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And I was going around telling Kenny, listen, man, you got to go to this. I don't understand why my barbers and everyone in my neighborhood, all the Dominicans, are not talking about this guy. He got zero promotion out here in New York. They didn't have a really good crowd. The tickets I got were not even very expensive. And, but Kenny was there supporting – you were supporting Crawford that day, right, Kenny? Or were you supporting Diaz? I forget.
I was supporting both of them. I was just clapping every time Diaz did anything nice because nobody else was clapping, and I'm Dominican, so it felt real bad. But before we even went to the fight, you had already brought me up to date regarding what Crawford has done, who Felix Diaz done. We saw a whole lot of footage, so we kind of knew that Crawford was gonna win. But I was just clapping for the Dominican dude. I feel bad, no love.
Bad that it was so bad that there was, I believe he was Peruvian. I'm like 90% sure he was Peruvian on the undercard. And it's like they had way more Peruvians at the Garden than they had for Diaz. It was crazy. And I mean, there's so many Dominicans in New York City. So on another show, I'm sure Kenny will explain his views on why he feels Dominican fighters don't get much publicity or much shine.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Date.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just looking at
guys,
go for it.
We're almost at the tail end here of our show. I want to thank Kenny and Amilcar. I want to take the time to thank you guys and thank all the listeners and everybody that tuned in to our live stream here that made this possible. Like I told the guys, doing a live stream on YouTube has been something I've been longing to do, and I've expressed it numerous times to our listeners. This is something that we want to do now. Now I got the right team with me. I mean, I've always had the right team. I just needed the tech guy, and both of you guys. I know Kenny put a lot of work. I would have not met Kenny if it wasn't for Amilcar. But both of the guys have stayed up, doing late hours, working really hard. I talked to Kenny yesterday for a short bit, and he was running on fumes and still trying to fit in, everyday activities, man. So I applaud you, man. I mean, that just shows how much of a
thank you, David. It means a lot.
It really does.
It means a lot to hear that from you. It really does. And look, just speaking personally, you know me. I mean, we go back over 10 years. I've been listening to your work and participating. And when you're not on the airwaves, it's a loss. So the fact that I could come back and share the mic and spit my views and keep this show going, it was like a no-brainer when we first spoke about it. And Kenny, he's one of my best friends. I could think of no one better to help us out with this side of where to go with Leave It in the Ring in terms of bringing in the social media aspect and the tech aspect and the live stream aspect. So yeah, much respect, David, and Kenny. Again, you too, obviously.
Hey, I also have to thank
and I'm just excited. Yeah, brother, I'm excited because now that we got this up and running, now we can start bringing up the other shows that we've been wanting to do, that we've been talking about. And I'll definitely let the listeners know as soon as we start setting it all up, because it's just now building that content. Again, everybody, have a great weekend. Enjoy the fights. Don't drink and drive, because you will spill your beer. Kenny, Amilcar, I'll see you guys. Talk to you guys
See ya.
next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank
See
you
you next week. Thank you for everything.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, leave it in the ring.
I think I should drop a freestyle.
Kenny, one time, tell him about the rhyme. Show me what you got.
Hey.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Have a great night.